our senior legislative advisor, and he happens to know the governor of West Virginia very well, as apparently he taught him in high school. He was his government teacher in high school, so they go back some time. And apparently he probably has many stories on the governor, which he probably will not share with us. So let's have a round of applause for Mr. Burger.
I have the great distinction this evening to get to a man I've known for a long time, very long time, at least as part of my life. And I'm very proud not only to have been around to share in some of the things that he's accomplished, but I'm very proud of the work that he does every day for West Virginia. And we just got through presenting a whole bunch of promised scholarships around the state. He was the sponsor of the Promise Scholarship Bill when he was President of the Senate. He's the sponsor of the School Building Authority Bill. He's the sponsor of any number of educational, any number of educational bills which benefit you every day in any way. And if he has one priority that I think that he would say that would be his legacy, it would be education. Of course, this camp, among other things, is an educational experience. Before I introduce him, though, I'd like to pay attention to the fellow in the suit and back over there, Jason Fitzgerald, who is the governor's deputy chief of staff, and Jason was a citizen here in 1999. He's one of the few Yankees we've allowed to be on the staff. So, without any further ado, it's my high honor and great privilege to introduce to you my good friend, the governor of West Virginia, Earl Ray Tomblin.
Sits together and it's kind of put together. But anyhow, I'm just really honored to be back here this evening to speak to this year's citizens of our Mountaineer Boys State. And some of the stories that Randy was talking about, he was much older than I was when he was my teacher. So, yeah. But anyway, I've learned a lot. They did teach me some government, so that's one of the things you learn here at Boys State. But I really am thrilled to be with you today and to celebrate the accomplishments and achievement that have brought you to the 2014 Mountaineer Boys State. I'd also like to recognize Randall Custis and Jim Davis and Steve Sluss. Steve was just right here, but he had. Oh, there you are. Okay. But Steve and I served in the legislature several years ago, and he's been very active in this organization. And Steve, it's great seeing you again. I also really want to thank all the volunteers who have dedicated their countless hours to ensuring that this program continues to be a tremendous success. You know, so many of these people don't have to do it, but they do it out of the goodness of their heart. They want to see you have a great time here and be successful. And that's one of those things that we need to think about as citizens, not only of the mountains of the Boys State, but of the Mountain State, is how we can help other people and volunteer our time and efforts and to help others. And I think that really makes us all better men and women in West Virginia. And over my tenure as governor, when I've seen the derecho hit and the snowstorms and the water problem, I've seen it time and time again. The citizens of West Virginia, they reach out and help each other in time of need. And that's what we've all got to do, is be able, to help each other to survive when we're needed out there. But one of the things I want to say is, while you're here, I want you to get to know each other, to reach out to each other, because you come from all parts of the state of West Virginia, and our state is very diverse. But one of the things that will teach you by doing that is, the people are different, You know, there are different needs, there are different interests and so forth, but by getting to know each other, it makes us realize how much we're all alike in the state of West Virginia. Way down in our hearts, we're still all, you know, the great mountaineers of this state, and so, you know, I would just encourage you to do that. Today, I still have many friends that I met here at Boy Scouts, not Boy Scouts, but at Boy Scouts so many years ago, and a lot of them are leaders around the state of West Virginia. A lot of them are in political office. A lot of them are business leaders. They're educators. They're doctors. So it's a great opportunity that each of you have here. And you're here today because you have been chosen as leaders, not only in your schools, but also in your communities. And that's a very important thing to be, because you're going to be tomorrow's leaders. And I just want to say that I think your all's generation, your class, and those to come behind you will have opportunities like none of the rest of us in West Virginia ever had. We got so much stuff going on in West Virginia right now, especially in North Central and Northern West Virginia with the Marcellus and Utica exploration and the natural gas that's going on here. We have the opportunity, and I've worked very hard to assure that we're going to get a cracker, an ethane cracker in West Virginia. And this is a kind of construction project that you or probably your parents have never really seen. It'll be about a $4 billion investment in our state. It'll take 3 to 4 years to get it built. It'll take thousands of construction workers to build it. But the good thing, once it's built, it's going to turn out ethylene, and that's the basic building blocks in chemistry and plastics industry. And that's where the jobs really come in, the downstream industries, the chemical plants, the plastics plants, and all those ancillary jobs that comes with it. And we've got to be planning, and we got to be ready when this all hits here in the next few years. You'll be graduating from high school next year. Obviously, I hope all of you are going on to some form of higher education or education beyond high school. But by 2018, we're going to need an additional 20,000 college graduates in this state just to maintain where we're at today. So I would just encourage you, I feel that each one of you do have plans for after high school, but in today's world, you've got to go on. Now, all of us don't have to go to four-year institutions to get a four-year degree. You know, that used to be the big thing when I was in school, because I was one of those people, the first generation to ever go to college. But there are lots of things that you can do with your life, and it depends on what your interests are. There are community and technical colleges that offer some great programs out there. There are other training programs. Obviously, if you're interested in math and science, the STEM subjects, those things, the businesses will snap you up real quick out there. But no matter what you decide to go into, whether it's the military, whether it's the law or healthcare, those jobs, education, those jobs are all going to be available, because we're going to see an influx of people come into our state when these jobs start to come. But I want you to be first in line to have those jobs. For so many years, our people could not find jobs in the state of West Virginia, but now, today, we have that opportunity waiting us, waiting you when you get out of, when you finish your education. But without that education, you're not going to make it. I mean, it's just as simple as it is. And what I would encourage you, when you go back and go through your senior year, if you've got friends that are talking about, well, I'm going to take some time off, or I don't want to go on to any kind of post-high school education, please encourage them to go somewhere else. Whether it's not one of the colleges or universities, there's great programs with great paid jobs that you can get from an associate degree at community colleges or some other kind of training. But you've got to have that education beyond your high school years. So, I would just ask, that you continue to do that you continue to be involved with your community. I know that you'll be coming to the Capitol, I think Thursday. I don't think I'll be there to greet you. There's Ramey and others will be coming. But, have the opportunity to sit in the Senate and House chambers and think about getting involved, whether it's at the city or the county or state level, in running your government. That's public service is honorable. Catch a lot of heat, but it is an honorable service to be in. And I'll just tell you, when I was a senior at WVU, I was 21 years old. I filed for the House of Delegates. And it's one of those things. I'm not that much older at that time than what you are now, 3 or 4 years. But at the same time, you can get involved. We had a situation over in the Eastern Panhandle this year where a young lady, 17 years old, she legally was not old enough to vote, but she filed and was nominated to the West Virginia House of Delegates. So, you know, you don't have to be an old guy to get out to get involved. No matter what kind of community service you like to do. You can do it now at your age or, you know, at any time in the future. And I think it's just so important to get involved in your communities, get involved with government at some level. Because, you know, you're going to be our leader someday, and we certainly appreciate it. Now, earlier today, I was up and spoke to the Mountaineer Girls State, and I had a message for you young men here. The girl says, we got more girls at Girls State than you got at Boys State. They challenged you. So anyhow, what you got to do is go back, and for those boys who will be ready to come next year, tell them to get up there. You got to beat those girls out. But they were raw because they would beat the Boys State the number of attendance this year. So it's good that that both our young men and young women in West Virginia are attending these programs and the sponsor of the American Legion and all the volunteers. And we certainly do appreciate the American Legion, because this is a great program. It's been going on for decades, and it continues to turn out for leaders in our state. So with that, I know how young men are. When it's dinner time, it's dinner time. I'll say, keep up the good work you're doing, and thank you for having me. Enjoy your day.
Point, and thank you for coming again and again.
Thank you for both the shirt and the point and the Governor Fish. Thank you for the job you've done. You've represented Mountaineer Boys State very well this past year. I know your term will be coming to an end very soon, but I just wish you the very best as you continue your education and your career in West Virginia. Thanks for all you've done for this state. Thank you.